are worthy to be praised, my Lord. All sufficient God, you are worthy to be praised, my Lord. All sufficient God, you are worthy to be praised, my Lord. Worthy to.
Hello, my name is Pastor Hannah Abrahams-Appiah, and I'm excited once again to be coming your way with our series called The Pastor's Wife. If you have been following our series, thank you. Subscribe to our channel if you are new to this channel. Press the notification bell so that you can get notifications on new videos that have been uploaded. Like our videos, comment on them, ask your questions, and share to as many people that this resource will be beneficial to. Today we want to talk about culture and the geographical issues that affect pastors' wives in the course of their duty. When you become a pastor's wife, depending on the unique assignment of your husband, some pastors' wives find themselves moving from one nation to the other or one city to the other. After a certain number of years in a particular station, they may be required to move to another station. In certain ministries, they move every 2 years. Others move every 4 years. For others, there's really no specific time. Some could be 10 years and they move. Some could be 3 months and they move. The movements are a function or the prerogative of the leaders and depending on the situation on the ground. Sometimes there's a particular pastor who may have resigned. His place needs to be filled. Your husband may be the most qualified person and he's asked to move. Some move systematically. Now, these geographical transfers have a way of impacting the pastor's wife in one way or the other. First and foremost, it depends on where you started ministry from. We have people in the cities, we have people in the rural areas, we have people in different nations. So let's assume or take a case scenario. You started ministry from the capital city of whichever nation you find yourself in. After 3-4 years, you are transferred to another township. After 4 years, you are now transferred to a rural setting. If you are not used to the change and you don't know how to adjust easily, pastor's wife starts struggling because the movement requires moving clothes, changing friends, changing networks, reintegration, adjustment, mission house, the comfortability, the amenities that you find there. There are people who live in cities where they have all the amenities, electricity, water, everything at their disposal. Now you are transferred to an area where these amenities are not readily available. What do? There are people who have transferred to one city or the other, and their children could not move with them because of the educational variations. The cost of living may be lower, in some cases may be higher. The networks and associations may be different. So you are pastor's wives actively working and balancing ministry and career wherever you were in the city. Now you are transferred to a remote town or a remote village. Now you don't have anything to do. You find yourself seated at home, either full-time housewife or fully engaged in ministry. There would be adjustments issues because when we talk of the culture, it's a way of life of people. Their food, their clothing, their belief systems, their music, everything influences the way they live their life. You also have your culture from your upbringing as a child. And now you have a new culture as a pastor's wife, the culture of ministry. Now you are moving to a completely new township where language is different, food is different, everything around you seems to be different. There will be the issue of adjustment. If you understand what we call missions, traveling from one place to the other, carrying the gospel to people, the issue of adjustment is very important. As a pastor's wife, you must pray and ask God to help you to adjust to the changing scenes or the changes that keep coming as a result of ministry. If not, you may struggle with that adjustment. Language becomes one of the issues you may have to adjust with. I remember being transferred from Ghana to Congo, and the language was French. I had to learn the language, I had to adjust to it. It was not easy initially. It took time, it took schooling. I know people who stayed in a French country for 10 years, a pastor's wife. She didn't learn one word in French. She just couldn't adapt and adjust. Adjustment is very, very important to be able to function effectively. I keep wondering how she was able to minister effectively to the congregation that she was sent to with her husband, because she didn't learn the language. Adjustment, culture, food. The food may be very different from what you also have grown up eating. And so suddenly you find out that they eat all kinds of foods. They have all kinds of vegetables. They have all kinds of animals that are part of their diet. So when somebody even invites you for lunch and you are picky or you are not used to a particular meat, you may be surprised that they offer you certain game that may be taboos to you. I know a couple who went to a particular country and they realized that the people in that country did not eat snails. Yet they were coming from a part of Africa where snails were such a delicacy. And anytime they were picking the snails, everybody frowned at them and was wondering, what's wrong with these people? Now, they also didn't understand the people, but what they didn't know is just by eating those snails, the members who they were going to minister to found them as very strange and very weird. And even listening to them became a problem. So you are going to be affected by your diet. You're going to be affected by the way you dress, what you wear, how you wear it, even is frowned upon. I remember tying cloth in a particular way in one country. And everybody, we wear a lot of cloth, African prints. And somebody looked at me strangely. Why are you wearing cloth this way? Simple things that look like a norm to you become so offensive to people. Now, why are we talking about culture and geographical issues? We are talking about them because they impinge on our lives in ways which we may not realize affects the work we do. If you find yourself in a country where you just cannot eat well, physically you will not be strong enough to be able to even do the work. You will live usually permanently upset. You will live usually frowning, very angry. I remember somebody giving us a gift of game, wildlife. And I was upset because I didn't eat what they had given to me. And it was their best delicacy in that town. But for me, it was something I was not used to. And I hadn't learned how to adjust and adapt to it. Adaptation is very important. You must also be very sensitive. If you are not sensitive to people's cultures and people's behaviors, you will be so offensive that the gospel you were sent to preach may not be received by them. A man went to a particular village to preach. And when he got there, they offered him a calabash of water from the stream. When he looked in the water was not clear, it was murky. And with the little signs he knew that this water was going to be laden with a lot of bacteria. And immediately he wanted to react. But because he had learned that the reception of the people will be based on how he received them, he took the calabash of water, prayed on it, and then he drank it. Immediately he drank it. The first thing he was told is, you have taken our water, meaning you have accepted us. So now, what did you bring to us? We are willing to accept your gospel. Can you imagine if he had disdained that gesture or refused to drink that water? He would not have sent the gospel he needed to send. Pastors' wives, learn to understand the cultural differences of the people. You must be mindful of the people you have been sent to. Remember, it's a spiritual assignment, and see yourself as a warrior. And once you see yourself as a warrior on an assignment, adaptability is key. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you. No matter your sensitive issues, He will show you what you can do, how you can do it to make adjustment easy. Language is important. Learn the languages of the people. It makes them more receptive. It makes them more appreciative. Prayerfully ask the Holy Spirit to help you. I remember praying to God one day about adjustment issues and rapid transfers. It was upsetting my equilibrium. And the Lord now was able to show me ahead of time before we moved from one city to the other. It made it easy for me to prepare for the movement, and it was not as uncomfortable as it would have been had I not been in the know. It is important to understand that some of these things are beyond our control, but God, who controls the humans, can help us in this work. If you don't do this, it can upset you totally. There are children who have had to leave one country to the other because of school, or they have had to stay back whilst their parents move to one country. So they live with other people just to be able to have a constant educational support. So these transfers separate families. These transfers bring adjustment issues. These transfers bring unsettling issues in the lives of many pastors' wives. But ultimately, if we look at it from this angle, God sent his only son, Jesus Christ, to come to earth and die for us. He left his throne above and came and lived like ordinary men. He was the first missionary. He adjusted to us, and he lived, served us, and became a model. With that same concept in mind, when you are a pastor's wife and your husband's assignment requires transfers and movements, you ask God for that same grace and look up to Jesus as your role model. And gradually make sure that wherever you find yourself, find something of interest, something you can do, something you can contribute, and know that these lives that God has brought your way are lives that you have a privilege to influence. You can learn from them, and you can teach them also whatever God has put in you. Ministry is a privilege. Ministry is a blessing. And wherever you find yourself, give your best. And I see God blessing you through it. God bless you. Thank you very much once again for joining us. I pray that this video has been a blessing to you. You can ask your questions. You can send this video to friends, family who are in ministry or who want to enter ministry, and we will get back to you with answers for your questions and your comments. Thank you very much for joining us. The Lord bless.